Welcome to Under Heaven, where women come together for honest conversations and spiritual growth. Here we embrace laughter amidst life's ups and downs, finding joy in the journey. Through faith and friendship, we learn and grow together, strengthening our spirits. In times of difficulty, we will be here offering support and understanding. Feel encouraged and let's draw closer to God together. Here's our host, Trish, ready to guide us on this enlightening path.
Of Tiger Eye Solution. She embodies faith, strategy, and service to all those that she helps. Lisa is, she's a podcaster, she's an author, and she is a woman of faith. So let's listen to Lisa and see what she has to say today. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you so much, Trish, for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited to have met you. And you are a woman who helps businesses streamline so they have more time.
Absolutely. Yes, I am.
Awesome. How did you happen to get into that after 25 years of being a preschool teacher?
Yes, that was a very long time and a long career as well. And don't get me wrong, I loved my time in the classroom with the kiddos. I think I learned just as much from them as they learned from me. Mm-hmm. However, it had been a long time dream of mine to find something that I could do from home. Really wish I'd have kind of found it sooner. But in the summer of 2018, I had set a goal to do some research because teachers have summers off, right?
Yeah.
And so I did a lot of research in the summer of 2018, found a coach and trainer on Facebook, of course, doing a free challenge. So it wasn't going to cost me anything but my time to go sit in and listen and see what she had to say. And at the time, I had no idea what a virtual assistant was. Had never heard of a virtual assistant. With 5 days spending with her, of course, I did learn what a virtual assistant was and learned also that I already had skills that I could implement and start using within a virtual assistant business. And so with a few conversations, of course, with her and my family, I jumped in, started taking her training program, learned a lot. I learned how to set up my own business. And I named my business against my one-on-one coach's advice. But I was dead set on naming my business Tiger Eye Solution. So I started out as an author assistant because teachers love books, right? I still love books. I read all the time. And so as a solopreneur, I was an author assistant. I edited, various manuscripts for my first, few clients. And then as I grew my business and moved forward, I learned how important relationship management and follow-up is. So in January 2020, I implemented those services and started providing those services as well for clients. It really took off. A lot of people needed those type of services, especially during that time. And of course, the pandemic happened 2 months later. And at that time is when, I was seeing a lot of different businesses move into the online space. And they really needed some help because they didn't know how to navigate and do business in the online space. So I made the decision to build a team. So by 2021, I had a small team put together for Tiger Eye Solution. And of course, ever since then, the business has grown, my team has grown. So currently, Tiger Eye Solution has a team of 8 virtual assistants, including myself. We're all US based, except for one. I have one out of Canada. And that gives Tiger Eye Solution the opportunity to offer a robust, different types of services for our clients. Anything from podcast management, website updates, social media, bookkeeping, the list goes on and on. Wow. So yes.
Yes, I could see where you are so needed. You are so needed, and especially to some of us who are just learning about the computer and things of the digital world. Definitely, you're a great help. That's awesome.
Thank you.
You said you went against your coach's advice and picked Tiger Eye Solutions. Why that name?
Very good question. Thank you for that question. I love it when people ask me this question.
Good.
I am from South Carolina, born and raised, lived here all my life. And if you're a sports fan, especially a college football sports fan, then you know that the two teams out of South Carolina is the South Carolina Gamecocks and the Clemson Tigers. I'm a Clemson Tiger fan. Did not go to school there. I'm just a big fan. So when I started my business, that's where my name come from, was Tiger Eye Solution. And in the beginning, I focused more on the I piece of the name because I was working with authors and editing, manuscripts and stuff for them. Now that my business has moved forward and I have a team for Tiger Eye Solution, we focus more on the solution name of, piece of the name, because no matter what type of needs you may have or help you may need, we can find the right solution for you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, when did you started this just recently, so to speak. And when in this did you realize that you were doing what God had called you to do?
Well, really, it was kind of early on. Because like I said, this had been a long time dream of mine, was to find something to do from home. And I felt, led to do research to find something, whatever it was, whether it was being a virtual assistant or whether it would have been something else. And so it was not an easy task by any means. And I did not automatically walk out of the classroom from being a teacher either. I did it on a part-time basis, taking that training, getting my business set up, gaining a few clients, in the very beginning. So it was not an easy task.
Was there a moment when I know this happened to me. I don't know if it happens to everybody, but was there a moment that you were sitting at your desk and saying, wow, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing? A time you enjoy. They say if you enjoy your work, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Exactly. Absolutely. And like I said, not to knock me being in a classroom with those little kids, because I enjoyed that, as well. However, I think I had served my purpose in the classroom and I needed to move on. And so starting a business is the way I moved on. And absolutely, I really think that the doors opened for me for a reason at that time in 2018 for me to start a business. And, doors have continued to open and my business has continued to grow, over the years. So, and I think that all is part of God's plan. I am making a difference in other businesses, in other people's lives, making their work, more profitable, successful, etc. We all have a reason and a purpose of why we started our business, and everybody's business is different. We do business differently, even if we're in the same industry, but we can move forward and we can help each other move forward in the direction we need to go.
Is there a mindset that you see especially in the entrepreneurs, a mindset that needs to be changed for them to move into allowing someone else to put systems in place for them?
Lots of times, yes, I do see that, because a lot of times, when you start a business, it's your baby, so to speak, right? And you want to make sure it's done the way you want it done. So you try wearing all the hats. Trust me, I've been there. I've done that. However, once your business reaches a certain point, of course, you want it to continue to grow. But by you wearing all the hats may be kind of holding it back, so to speak. And that's not what you want to do. So I like to say that, we all have our own zone of genius, right? Every business owner has their own zone of genius. And that's where your focus needs to be as the business owner, is in your zone of genius. And us as virtual assistants, we also have our own zone of genius. So it's kind of a win-win for everyone involved by bringing an assistant on board to help you with your business, whether it's the admin pieces, whether it's your calendar, whatever it is.
That's amazing.
The assistant gets to do what they love and the business owner gets to do what they love.
Yeah, and I think it is hard. I know it's, for me, mine is, basically around ministry. And it's like you're thinking, my thought was, this is God's business and he's called me to do it, so I need to do it. But I realized, like you said, I can't wear all those hats and
No,
still do what I'm called to do.
right.
And my hat is off to you, and I do encourage any entrepreneurs out there that are trying to do it all. Let Lisa help you.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Now let's go on to you being an author. You talked about the writing and the eye looking at the writings. You collaborated on a book, and it's a
I did.
bestseller.
I did. It was an international best-selling book. This was back in 2020. So while everybody's, going through the pandemic, I'm writing a chapter in a book.
Awesome.
And it's also on my website. My website's tigereyeSolution.com. The book is called Jumpstart Your Blank is the name of the book. My chapter in the book is called Jumpstart Your Follow-Up. There's 15 different authors in this book, so I'm one of 15. There's various different chapters that focus on business and personal life. So, it can help you in either or. Like I said, you can purchase it right off my website. And then my most recent book is about a mentor, a pastor, called The Kenny Mack Story. It is currently still going through the process of being put on Amazon. However, you can pre-order a book if you like. I have a QR code that you can use and pre-order your printed copy of the book, but it's called The Kenny Mack Story. Kenny McDowell is a pastor that I have been closely acquainted with since I was a teenager, and has impacted my life in various different ways. And so the book is kind of a story about his life, how he, has really been led by God all through life, and how he came into the ministry to be a minister. However, he was doing those type of things prior to God actually calling him in the ministry. All that's in the book. So yeah, it's a really, really great read. And as soon as it is actually published, it will also be on the website.
Awesome. And I would think that would be a great encouragement to those of us who are out there and we're not seeing much happening as far as, we want to do things for the Lord, but we're not seeing much happening. And you said he began ministry even before he actually began ministry.
Yes, absolutely.
That would be a great encouragement. I encourage everybody to check that out. So now what advice would you have for a woman? We're talking about female women, female leaders, female business
Sure.
owners, and that. What would you want them to know about faith and business and the follow-up, the connections? What would you say in one paragraph?
Oh goodness.
That makes it
There's
hard,
so
huh?
much I could say. Really, prayer is a big part of my life. And I believe that, God is going to lead us in the direction that he wants us to go. So definitely start with prayer, and you seek, his help and his guidance in leading you in the direction that he wants you to go. And being an entrepreneur, if he has put you in the position to be an entrepreneur, by all means, let him guide you through that entrepreneurship, through running your business, through whatever kind of clients and customers, that you work with. Let him be your guide. Let him be your leader. And you're going to learn from him how better to be a leader and to be the owner or CEO, per se, of your own business. So yes.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome sauce. And now you're also a podcaster.
I am.
Tell me about your podcast and how
Yes.
that came about.
Originally, it came about in 2021. So I've had my podcast for a while. It's called Tiger Eye Talk. And mine's a little bit more untraditional versus the traditional podcast. I just like to get on there and have a conversation with whoever my guest is. and promote them as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, and whatever it is they have to offer. Whatever type of services or products or whatever it is they do within their business, that's what we talk about. How they got started, how, they help whoever it is they help. We talk about that. It's just a conversation. That's why it's a talk show, so to speak. Yes, it's a podcast, but it's a talk show. We just get on there and talk. We have a conversation.
How wonderful. And that's called Tiger Eye Talk. And is there a certain time that it comes out? Your new talks come out?
Yes. Up until now, it's always been once a month, the first Tuesday of every single month. So our next episode and the last episode for this year will be the first Tuesday in December. However, in 2026, I have set a goal to start doing the podcast twice a month. So I am looking for guests. If you are interested in being a guest on the Tiger Eye Talk show, I would love to have you. And I will send you a sign-up form, all the things, if you're interested. And it's on my YouTube channel. You can see almost all of the episodes are on the YouTube channel. Tiger Eye Talk. Yeah, it's awesome.
That is. And I do agree. I think it's so wonderful for women to see other women going forward and doing things.
Yes.
The ministry I'm with it's a lot for women who are in transition. Maybe their children have left home or their husband has, she's a widow now, different things in her life and going forward. And I admire you for doing that because it not only helps that woman that you're talking to, helps her to be more vocal and bold to express what she's been able to do. And most of it is through God. Most of us will acknowledge it's God. We couldn't do it on our own.
Absolutely.
And so my hat is off to you. Do you have one? Now I'm just getting into this podcasting thing. And I just, sometimes I don't have questions or that. Have you had one podcast that it just didn't go the way you thought it would, but it ended up being one that everybody really enjoyed?
Absolutely.
Okay. Can you tell us?
Questions I use. However, I don't always use them. It just depends on how the conversation goes with the specific guest that I have on that specific episode. Now, in the very beginning, when I started my podcast, it wasn't just me and the guest talking. I actually brought another team member on. So some of them early on, you might see, more than just two people having a conversation. But it was very beneficial also to have that extra person to help keep the conversation going, ask any additional questions. Because, as you're having a conversation, questions can come up about whatever it is being talked about at that given moment, right? Mm-hmm. So, yes, I do have a list of questions that I might ask if we get to that. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Just depends on how the conversation goes. And yes, there's been various different times that I didn't use my questions at all. Didn't need to.
Yeah.
Just because It was a great conversation with that specific guest, and they kind of just took it and ran with it, basically. Telling all the things of how they started their business, how they do what they do, whatever it is. It was awesome. Really awesome.
Do you think that podcasting is something that women should get into when they have a business? It just seems so many women are going into podcasting now.
Yes. Well, a little bit of that may be that women like to talk. We can't deny that, right?
Right.
So that might be a little bit of it. But at the same time, yes, I agree that it is very beneficial for women to have a podcast or to, be a guest on podcasts to help share their story, share their business, and share how it is that they help the people that they help.
Yeah, I think that is just so good because, I feel women for so many years have kind of stayed at home and let the men take care of the business, but God uses all of us.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that has a plan for us all, for sure.
Exactly. I am so happy to have met you, Lisa. And you are just an amazing woman, how you went from this to this to this, and God has
Thank you.
taken you to Tiger Eye Solution now with people even up in Canada working for you. So that's just awesome. Can you give us, again, you did give us a website. Can you repeat your website and how someone
Yes.
could contact you?
Awesome. Yes. My website is tigereyesolution.com. And you can also find me on my social channels. I'm on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. So, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I would love to have a conversation.
Awesome. Awesome. And I know she can help you with your business.
Yes.
A lot of us can use her for our business. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you
Thank
today for
you.
being my guest. And I just thank you all for joining us and being able to share this time with Lisa and how she shared her heart and her faith with you and how she's there to help. And it's just so awesome to know that there's people in the world, you are not alone. So y'all have a great day. Remember that you are loved all the time and begin to choose hope and speak life, and you will have a great day. Bye-bye. Thank you again, Lisa.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Under Heaven podcast, where every episode brings you closer to the heart of faith. Remember to hit like and subscribe and join our growing community, inspired by divine love. Your comments mean the world to us, fostering a vibrant dialogue rooted in spirituality and connection. By sharing our podcast, you play a vital role in spreading the love of God to others in your life. We're grateful for your support and can't wait to continue this journey with you in our upcoming episodes. Together, let's embrace the hope and light that each moment with God brings into our lives.